Okay, so we're moving on to the feet now. So we're going to do a similar method to what we did with the hands. So take your brush, and I'm just going to go over the whole foot, including the toes. Right around the heel. I'm going to go up here in a line and then down onto the heel. Like that. So that's the whole foot covered. And then we're just going to pounce out the excess. Like so. Then use my brush just to go through all the little creases and make sure that there's nothing that's being left there. You need to make sure that the lines are all nice and softened along the outside and inside of the foot, and then we'll heat set that. Do that all again over the whole foot and the toes, right along the side of the foot and up past the heel, like that. So just pounce round all the way down in the toes, up the side, like so, and then use your dry brush just to go through all the little creases, especially in the toes, and just make sure that there's no excess building up again. There we go, and then we'll heat set that. Massive blob of paint there, so we'll try and lift that off without it sticking to the vinyl. There we go, and then just the rest of the foot all the way around and down the foot here, up and over the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot even, down the sides, and just gently pounce the excess off. All the way around, like so, and then just go in with your dry brush again. Okay, I'm going to heat set that. Okay, I'm going to do that all again. Okay, and then we're going to pounce that out. Right around, and use your brush again. Okay, and then heat set that. For this one, we're going to do something slightly different. We're going to do a C shape. So this is a back to front because we're on the other other foot, but we're going to go around from the ball of the foot right past up by the toes, and then come round on the outside of the foot and then onto the heel and around. So it makes a back to front C. There you can see. So that's the C. So round like so, and onto the heel. So it just leaves the arch of the foot clear, and there's not any paint on that. Okay. Go right round and just pounce out any excess, and use your brush if you need. Okay, and then we'll heat set that. And we'll do that all again. So same again, so just want to do a C. Right around here and on the heel. And then just pounce out the excess. Like so, and we'll heat set that. And again. Like so. Again, just pounce that out and heat set. Okay, now we've done that, I'm going to move to the smaller brush now, and I'm going to go and just into the centre line here and around the top where the toes go in. I'm just going to brush around to create some shadowing effect. So around the base of the ball there, up to the toes, and then just pounce that out. Okay, and we'll use our dry brush just to go in and make sure there's no excess, and heat set that. Don't worry about the different colour toes at the moment, we're going to sort those out in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. Around the ball of the foot and across the top of the toes, blemish that out, and use my brush if I need, and heat set that. So I'm just going to check that against the colour of the hand. You can see the hand's a little bit more red, so I'm just going to do a couple more layers on the side here. Push it into all the creases. Okay. Just along the side of the foot. Make it a little bit more red. Okay, and just pounce the excess off and heat set. Okay, I'm happier with that colour now, so I'm going to move on to the toes. over the toes. Just going to do one at a time. So just paint all around, right to the front, and paint all around the front as well, like so. And then using your sponge, just bounce off any excess, and using your dry brush, just go into any, like in the nail bed, just make sure there's no excess in there either. Bounce off, and then we'll heat set that. Okay, and then I'll do that again. All the way around, like so. And then just pounce off any excess, right down into the crease there. And then we'll heat set that. Okay. And again. All the way around, like so. And then just dab off any excess. And heat set. Beginning to get some colour in this toe now. And all the way around the side, like that, and then around the edges here. Again, staying away from the nail if you can, and we'll leave that for later on. Bounce off the excess and heat set that. Okay. And do it all over again. And the sides, like so. And just circle the nail, staying away from the nail bed, and into the little nooks and crannies around the side of the toe, and just pounce off that excess. Like so. Right, okay, then I'm going to heat set that. Now I'm finding that the side of the toe here isn't taking the paint as well as the front here. So I'm just going to concentrate on the side, and I'm just going to bring it up to the same sort of tone as the front there. Well, I should say the back, it's the back of the toe really. So I'm just going to concentrate on that. So just going to mix my paints again because they're settling. And, oh, wrong side. Go back in with my brush. I'm just going to focus on the side of the toe, like so. But I'm going to make sure that it's well and truly blended into the front and the back, because we don't want any lines created here. So you're just going to go over the side where you want the extra colour, like so, and just pounce off, and make sure you blend it right in nicely to the sides so there's no lines. And then we'll heat set that. Okay, and then I'm going to do that again. So same thing, bring it right around the side of the toe with your brush, and then just pounce off with your sponge, blending it in nicely, and then heat setting again. Like so, we can see it's beginning to lift the colour now, and it's beginning to come around the same sort of tones as we have on the pad of the toe. So I'm going to do maybe a couple more layers on that until I'm happy that it's matching nicely. So around the side here, and just dab off the excess and make sure it's nice and blended in. Okay, and then we'll heat set that again. Okay. And then I'm going to do it once, maybe twice more, like so, and just pounce off the excess, blending it in nicely. Got a little bit on the toenail there, so I'm just going to lift that off. It's not the end of the world if you do pop it on the toenail, because we will be painting the toenails eventually. We just want a nice clean surface to do so. But if it's slightly red, it doesn't matter, because we will be putting red on it later anyway. But okay, so we can see that it's brought up nicely, so I'm just going to heat set that section now. Okay, so I'm happy with how that, this keeps rolling over. I'm happy with how that's toned in nicely with the top of the toe there, you can see. Okay, so I'm actually going to come around this side because the same thing's happened on this side as it has on the other side. So I'm just going to bring up the colour a little bit more on this side, just to bring all of it in to the same sort of tone. Okay, so right in between the toe, like so, and using your sponge, just pounce off any excess and make sure it's nice and blended in. Use your brush if you need any extra help getting paint up the creases. I've just noticed some paint that was in the crease beforehand in the toenail next to it, so I'm just removing that now. Anyway, back to the foot, so just add a little bit more in there and just pounce off. Okay, and then we'll heat set that. Okay, again, all the time checking your vinyl isn't too hot, because we don't want to be painting on hot vinyl. Okay, and then paint away again and just pounce the excess off there. Okay, and we'll heat set that. Do it one more time in this little section here, and then we'll heat set that. Okay, I'm happy with that. It's brought it back up to this sort of same colour. Okay, so we're moving on to the next toe now. So same thing again, just painting around the ball of the toe. So, all the way around. I'm going to bring that round to the front as well. And around that toenail. And just pass off any excess. Like so, and then we'll heat set that. Just going to mix my paints again because they've settled. Okay. So, same thing again, around the toe. Move it all the way around to the front of the toe, and then we're just going to pounce out the excess like so, and then we'll heat set that. Okay, so we can see how that's going. Now it's picking up a lot more paint here around the base of the ball rather than the tip of the ball here. So I'm just going to go ahead like we did on this toe. I'm just going to concentrate on that tip of the toe just to make sure that the colouring is even throughout, like so, and then we'll heat set that. And then we'll do that again. Okay. And then we'll heat set that. Now this toe picked up a lot more colour from when we were doing the foot than the big toe did, so we're not going to need as many layers to bring it to the same colour. As you can see there, that specific toe picked up a lot more colour than these four did. So these three here and this and the big toe. So not as many layers needed, so you don't always need the same amount of layers on different parts of the vinyl to make it the same colour. Again, as I said before, I don't really go by number of layers, I go by sort of looking at the colour and the tone of the colour and making sure it's even throughout the whole area. So I just add little bits here and there until I'm happy that the colour is nice and even. So now I'm just concentrating on the front of the toe because the back of the toe picked up a lot more colour when we were focusing on the sole of the foot. So the front of the toe isn't the same, in the same sort of tonal range as the back of the toe is. So just going through with my brush now, taking out any excess that's lying in the creases, and then we're just going to heat set that now. Okay, and then we're going to keep doing that until we're happy with the colour that it's bringing out. So same thing, every now and again just bring it down a little bit down the toe so we don't have a nice, like a horrible line across the edge there. So all the way around, and then just pounce off the excess, and my brush is everywhere. Okay, and just pounce out the excess in the toenail, and then we'll heat set that. And we'll do that all again, like so, and then we'll heat set that. Okay, I'm going to do one more layer on this side here, and then I think we might just about be up to date with the colouring. Okay, heat set that. Okay, so I'm happy with that now. Same with the back, so we're going to move on to these three toes that are joined together. Here, as a rule, I tend to, if the toes are fused together on the vinyl, I tend to work on all of them together unless they're all fused, and then I work on them individually. But I just find it's a lot easier for me to go through and do the ones that are fused together. I just find it's a lot easier to work. You don't have to do it that way, it's just the way I do it. Okay, so same sort of thing. These have picked up quite a bit of colour as well, so we shouldn't need too many layers, but we'll see. So I'm just going to go through all 3 toes that are fused together with my brush, and I'm just going to pounce out the excess. Like so, and then I'm going to bring in my dry brush, just make sure that it's not stuck in all of the creases. Finding in this kit there's lots of little detail lines and the paint's just getting caught in them, so I'm having to use my dry brush a lot on this kit because of all the wonderful details. So yeah, I'm just got to be careful for those little sort of, what do you call them, skin texture details on the toes and on the fingers, because the paint gets caught in them very easily, so just keep an eye out for them. Okay, and then do that again. Okay, again I'm just leaving out this little section past the ball of the foot, where it joins, the toe joins the sole of the foot below the ball. I'm just leaving that out for the moment so it's a slightly lighter colour. I may go back and fill it later, we'll see, but for now I'm just letting it be and just focusing on the balls of the toe. Okay, and I'm just pouncing out the excess there. Just going to use my brush again. Okay, and then we'll heat set that. Another thing when the toes are fused together, because I can't go around the whole toe, I tend to do one side first and then move it around and do the back side afterwards, or the front side, the bit with the nail. So I just focus on one side at a time. Unlike when it's a single toe, then I'll go all the way around the toe and do the front and back at the same time. Just something I do, don't know why I do it, it's just something that works for me. Okay, and we'll pounce the excess out again and find our dry brush, just make sure that you get as much paint out as possible, and then we'll heat set that. Okay, now this back toe here, the very first fused toe, is picking up paint a lot more than these two, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that toe now, and we're going to move on to just doing these two at the edge, just so that we can bring their tone up to the same as the other toes that have been done already. So again, just focusing on these toes just to lift the tone a bit, and just pounce the excess off and heat set that. Okay, checking that they're not too hot, and doing that all over again. By the looks of things, we won't need too many to bring it up to tone. So dab off the excess again. I'm just going to bring in my brush because it's getting caught in those skin texture details again. And then we'll heat set that. Okay. And I'm going to do another one here. Like so, just to lift the tone up a little bit. Okay, and then back in with my dry brush, and then we'll heat set that, and I think we'll be there. Those toes are looking relatively even, so I'm going to go ahead and leave them now, and we're going to move on to the heel of the foot because I feel there isn't enough colour here compared to the balls of the feet up here. Can you see the colour difference? It's ever so slight, but it's there enough. So I'm just going to use my bigger brush, the one that I use for mixing. And I'm just going to go over excuse excuse me, the heel of the foot like so. So just feel there isn't enough colour in the heel, so very gently dab that out, so you don't want to take too much off here, like so. And then we'll heat set that now. Okay, and then again I'm just going to do it on the very tip of the heel there and just pounce that out, because that's where the colour is lacking. I'm finding it's okay around the backs here, it's just the tip there, so I'm just adding a little colour to that now. It's looking better already. Do a little bit on this side. I'm just having a look and seeing the little bits that aren't quite matching up in tones, and I'm just adding a little bit more colour and then heat setting that, like so. Okay, it's looking better. Okay, so I'm going to move around to the front now, because you can see that we've done some toes and not others, so I'm going to hold it this way, I think. Got a bit of smudged paint there, sorted that out now. Okay, so I'm just going to go in with my dry brush actually, because I've got a little bit of stuck paint in the corner here. So just going over that with my brush, making sure there's no excess paint stuck in little corners. Got a little bit here. Okay. Alright, okay. So now we're just going to go circling the toenail, same as before, and just bringing the tone up to match the others. Okay, and we'll heat set that. Same thing really, so just sweeping your brush around the toenail, like so. Okay, and then we'll bounce that off. And we'll heat set that. And again. Okay. And then we will heat set that. I'm just going to pay a little bit more attention to this side of the toe here, because it's not picking up paint as well as I would like. So just on that side there. Same thing, swipe and brush with your brush. Swipe with your brush around here and just pounce off with your sponge. And then we'll heat set that. And again. Just pounce that off. And we actually need our dry brush here because it's getting caught in the crease. Okay, and then we'll heat set that. Okay, we're beginning to reach the right tone. So I'm just going to carry on with that now. The baby toe has the right tone anyway, so I don't need to just go over that with my brush. It's just these two here. Okay, and then we'll heat set that one. And I'm just going to do one more on this middle toe here. Like so. And just pounce the excess off and heat set that. Okay, so we've brought the toes up to a nice shade there. We haven't finished yet, this is just the preliminary shading. And you can see it's really beginning to pick up colour compared to, if I bring the other foot out, you can see the colour difference is really quite stark. Okay, so this is where we want to be at the moment. So we get in there. Okay, so I'm going to pop that to the side and then we're going to move on to the blank foot. So same thing as we did before. Let's mix my paints up a bit. So we're going to go over the sole of the foot with our big flat brush. I'm just going to run all the way around. Make sure you don't have too much on your brush. Just going to run all the way around. Down the side of the foot here. Up and around the back of the heel. All the way around the side there. Okay, you're just going to leave the toes alone for the minute and we'll go back and fill them in. So just pounce off the excess. Like so. Okay, and then we'll heat set that. Go ahead and do a second layer right up to where the toes meet the balls of the feet, all the way up and then down the side, and then coming over the edge here so we've got a little bit of an overlap onto the top of the foot there, and then come around to the back of the heel and just go up a little bit onto the leg, and then like so. And then bring it around the sides here. Okay, and then we'll pounce off the excess of that, like so, and making sure there's no paint that's stuck in any creases or anything like that. And then we'll heat set that. The foot, the top here, bring it all the way down, around, there we go, and then pounce off the excess there. And again we want to blend this line on this side of the foot in quite nicely. We don't want any, we do want a bit of a line there, but we want more of a gradient than a harsh line here. So again, just making sure that you've got the line blemished out with your sponge just helps a lot. Okay, when you're sure there's nothing left in the creases and you don't have any paint stuck, and there's no excess lying around, then go ahead and heat set again. Okay, and then do it all again with the next layer, so right up to the toes and then all the way down the foot. Just pick up a little bit more paint on my brush, not too much. Again, coming right down the side of the foot, round the back of the heel, like so. And then we'll just pounce the excess off once more, like so. All the way around. Make sure there's nothing stuck in the creases. Just going to bring out my dry brush and just make sure the areas around the toes of the feet, the toes on the feet are nice and clear. Okay, and then we'll heat set that. Okay, and then we'll do it all again. So right to the toes, but not including the toes just yet. And then all the way down over the heel, around the sides, and around the sides on this side, like so. And just pounce that off and blemish everything in, like so. Okay, then I'll heat set that now. Okay. And then I'm just going to focus on the heel for a couple of layers because it's not picking the paint up like the rest of it. So just around the heel like so. And just dab the excess off there, and then we'll heat set that. Okay, and again. And dab. And heat set. Heat set. Okay, feel now that's in the same tone as the rest of the foot, so I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more layers. Okay, so just right down across the whole foot, like so, all the way around the heel and down the side of the foot. Beginning to get the colour we like, so almost there. So just pounce out any excess again, bring in your dry brush if you need it, and just lift out any excess in the creases. And then we'll heat set that. If you need to, then use your other foot and just compare them. You can see we've still got a little bit left to go. Not quite there yet. Okay. So just rid your brush of the excess, and same thing again. Although this time we're going to do the C shape that we did last time, if you remember, on the other foot. So just draw a C around the foot like this, leaving out the arch. So, and we can just pounce the excess out there, like so. Okay, and then we'll heat set that. C shape as we did before, so around the side and up past the heel, like so, and then just pounce off the excess there, all the way around, like so, and then we'll heat set that again. And then check against your other foot. Almost there, just a couple more layers I think. So just reload my brush again, making sure I take a lot of the excess off. Okay, and then the same C shape as before, like so, all the way around. Okay. And then pounce the excess off again. Like that. Okay. Check there's no excess in creases. Okay, and then we'll heat set that again. It's not too hot. Okay, I think I might do just one more layer and then we'll move on to the toes. So just around, same C shape as before, like so. Just pounce the excess off again. And then heat set that. Happy with that. So I'm going to move along to the toes now. You can see there's a big colour difference there. Looks like she's got a little burnt sole at the minute, but no. We're going to go ahead and just colour in those toes and bring it so it matches the colour of the foot. Okay. So I'm moving to my smaller flat brush, if you can see. Same technique as before. I'm going to start with the big toe. And you're just going to paint all over the toe, leaving out the little section underneath the ball of the toe. And you're just going to follow the toe right around. If it's a separate toe, I follow it all the way around, leaving out the nail. Like so, move all the way around the front, like so. And then we'll just pounce off any excess there. Okay. And then when we have all the excess off, we're going to heat set that. Okay. Check it's not too hot. And then we're going to do the next layer. All the way around, across the top, like so, and we'll just pounce the excess off again, and then we'll heat set that. Make sure you got get the size of the toes as well, but in between the two toes, otherwise you'll end up with a white streak down the sides and it will just look very dull-like and really remove a lot of the realism if you miss that area. So make sure you get all the way around the toe. Okay. And just pounce the excess off again. All the way around, and then we'll heat set that. need to put your heat gun over the area you want to force dry or set, although it's not completely set, enough to put the next layer over. So you want to hold it over until, only for a few seconds, until the shine of the wet thinner disappears a bit and it goes matte, and then you want to hold it there for 1, maybe 2 more seconds afterwards and then move it away. But you do not want to stay on that area until if it starts to shine once it's gone matte, then you've heated it too much, and the oils are coming out of the vinyl, and that is not what you want. You do not want to overheat the vinyl because it's very difficult to correct it and keep it corrected, so you just want to watch out for that. So we're just going to go in with another layer now, all the way around the foot, or the toe even. Don't forget to go right up to the back of the toenail on the tip of the toe. I've missed that several times and had to go back and fix that. So all the way around the toe, like so, not missing in between, and then just dab out the excess, and we'll heat set that. Okay, and again, go all the way around. Bringing it down the toe just a little bit for 1 or 2 layers, just to make sure that you don't have a harsh line across the middle of the toe from where it's slightly darker with the red. It just helps to blend it a little bit more. Okay, so I've pounced the excess off again and we'll heat set that. Okay. I think we'll do 1, maybe 2 more layers. So just around the toe here, right up to the toenail, all the way around in between, and around the side of the foot, side of the toe even, like so, and just pounce the excess off with your sponge. If there's excess in the toenail bed, then just bring in your dry brush and just lift that out. Okay, and then we'll heat set that. Okay, now I don't know whether the camera will pick this up, but compared to the front of the toe here, and if I turn it around, you can see the side of it is a lot lighter than the front. Can you see that? So I'm going to go ahead and pay some attention to this side bit just to bring the tone colour up to the front of the toe here, like we did on the other foot, because it's just not picking the paint up as quickly as the other side. So just going to paint all the way through that like that, and then pounce that out with my sponge and just make sure it's blended nicely on either side so you don't have any lines, and then we'll heat set that. Again, and pounce out the hair there. Pounce with your sponge and heat set that. And again. And heat set. This is really lifting the tone to the correct colour, like so. So that's really brought it in line with the rest of the toe, because now if I turn it around you can see there's no white line along the side. It's all the same tone. So that's worked nicely. Okay, so we're going to move on to these 3 fused toes in the middle. You can see these 3 are fused together. The side little pinky is on its own. So I'm just going to focus on these 3 here, and because they're fused together I just focus on the ball of the toe, and we'll move on to the other side where the nail is later on. So just moving into this side, so reload your brush and then just paint over the toes like so, and you want to make sure you go right up to the nail as well. Okay, and go all the way over those like so. And then we'll just dab the excess off there, and then we'll heat set that. Okay, and again. Just going to add a little bit more paint to my brush, and then just pounce the excess off with your sponge. And heat set that. And again. Same thing again. Right over the toes. Make sure you go right to the tips as well, by the nails. And just pounce the excess off those as well. And then we'll heat set that. Check they're not too hot. And move on to the next layer. And just pounce off the excess there, and heat set that. All the way around, and pounce the excess off again. You can see we're beginning to get the colour in there that we would like, and we'll heat set that. Okay, and do the same again. Pounce the excess off them, like so, and we'll heat set that. Okay, and I'm just going to mix my paints up because they're settling a little bit. Okay, and go in again with your brush. Again, we're leaving out this little section in between the toe, the top of the toes and the foot. So I'm just leaving them be for now. Just bounce out the excess again. And we'll heat set that. Almost there, we've got a couple more layers to go I think, and then we'll be on par with this toe. Then I'll check it against the other foot and we'll see where to go from there. Okay. And heat set that. Heat set. reset that again. Okay, you can see the colour difference there, so we're beginning to come in line with these, the big toe. It's just the little toe we've got to do now. So I'm just going to bring my other foot along, and you can see these toes are maybe slightly lighter than what we would like, so I might go back and do a couple more layers on top. So I'm going to go through all the toes we've done so far and just lift the colour up a little bit and heat set that. Just do a couple more layers on here. Okay, bouncing off the excess again and heat setting. Okay, so I'm just going to move on to the pinky toe now and bring that up to the colour up to the correct tone, and we'll move on to the front of the foot. So same thing, just painting around the toe. As this is a singular toe, I tend to go around the front as well and just pounce off any excess. And heat set. Okay. Just pounce the excess off again and heat set that. Okay, I'm just going to keep going till I'm happy with the colour. Heat set. Okay. And again, right around the nail, leaving the nail alone. Okay, and we'll heat set that. Get in there. Okay, I had too much on my brush there and it's gone right over the nail. So I'm just going to pounce the excess out with my sponge. I'm going to go in with my dry brush and just lift the colour out of the nail, like so. And just pounce the excess off again, and I'll lift all the rest out with a clean sponge and just go into the nail, just lifting the excess out there. Okay, and then we'll heat set that. Okay. And then move back in again with our next layer, all the way around the toe. Like so. And we'll heat set that. And just another couple more layers, I think. Pouncing the excess out with my sponge again. And going in with my dry brush, like so, and heat setting that. Okay, just check that against the other foot. We did. Can see they're relatively equal in tone, I think. Quite happy with how they are looking. I think I'm just going to go back over and do a little shading in the creases here and just add a little bit more colour on the rest of the foot just to bring it in with this foot here. So what I mean by that is just take my bigger brush and load that up and make sure that the excess is wiped off. And I'm just going to follow the ball of the foot here and just swipe around the corner here and then all the way around here, and just follow the inside of the C there. Okay, and bring it across that side so it just gives the foot a little definition. So around the ball of the foot there, up and down the centre of the C and round there, and then just lift it around the corner like so. You can see the pattern there, and just pounce out the excess, and then we'll heat set that. Okay, I'm just going to do that a couple times just to add a little shading. So same thing, round the ball of the foot, inside of the C and across the side like so. And then we'll just pounce the excess off and heat set that again. Okay, I think we'll do it one more time just to give it a little bit more. Like so. Pounce that off again and heat set. Okay, I'm happy with that now. It's given it a little bit of shape. So I'm just going to go in with my little brush again and just shape the toes. So I'm just going to do a little circle around the toes here. Just add a little bit more colour to them. So the same semicircle we were doing with the fingers. I'm just going to heat set that. Okay. Now I'm just going to go over all of the toes and then in between here. Like so. Just pounce off any excess and heat set that. Pop that next to the foot again, and I think that's brought that up to scratch now, so it looks on par with the other foot. Okay, so that's the blushing done, well, this layer of blushing done. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the next. Oh, I lied, I almost missed that bit there, because we did the front of the toes here, we didn't do the back. So just going to go in and make sure before I do anything that there's no excess paint, any creases. Okay, and then like before, we're just going to follow around the nail, but not on the nail. Just going to follow that around there, and then pounce off the excess, and then we'll heat set that. I'm just going to reload my brush. pounce that excess off, and we'll heat set that. Okay, and do that layer again. Okay, and then heat set that. Brush. All the way around and just pounce the excess off and heat set that. Okay, let's do a couple more layers I think. Pounce off the excess and heat set. And one more. And pounce the excess off and heat set. Okay, so that's that all done now. You can see they're all on the same level. Okay, we have a nice red side of the foot there. So that's done. With the blushing's done now for that layer. Just going to pop her to the side, and then we'll move on to the next stage.